Hello and welcome to Morning Market Call. I'm your host, Eduardo Michelucci, and today we have the pleasure of having Professor Roger McCarthy here with us. Thanks for coming, Roger.
Glad to be here.
And just so we know a little bit about Roger, he's the Director of Experiential Learning here at BYU, mainly meaning that he's running the Field Study program. And before joining BYU, he worked for Dow Chemical for over 30 years, including the last position that he held as Chief Strategy Officer. So, Roger, I just wanted to learn a little bit about your experience so far in the field study. Like there are many different classes that a student can take in the MBA, maybe too much. And I just wanted to know, like, what is it about the field study that you think is unique and that a student can learn from?
Well, it was interesting. There was a conference call held today with one of the leading studiers of recruiting around university campuses all over the country. And he was speaking today, and he said that after your work experience, or paid work experience, the next most important thing, before classes, before anything else, the next most important thing to recruiters was programs where a company works directly with a university in setting up experiential work experiences tied between the company and the university. And he said that is the number 2 most important thing that impacts recruiters and how they select people. I thought that was kind of interesting. That just came out today.
That's great.
So what's unique about field studies? I don't care, I've taught strategic management and I've taught different things here at BYU. I taught a lot of different training programs and things that I actually created over 32 training programs at Dow at different times in different functions and things that I worked in marketing and finance and sales and HR. And so I know I've seen a lot of trying to train people about business. The truth is, I don't care how good the case study is or all that other kind of stuff, it's contrived. In the end, it's made up. It's not real.
Right.
And the difference is when you have that kind of a situation, you're always trying to figure out what the professor wants you to say. You're always trying to figure out kind of what's the right answer. The truth is, in business, there is no, quote, right answer. There's options and opportunities and things to look at. Field studies is the only place where you get a real situation. You're going to work for a real company, doing real projects that are just like you do in a real company setting. I've often said that probably 50% of the learning that takes place in a field study is not necessarily from the skills and tasks that you do in the project. It's from learning to communicate with a business partner, trying to identify how your team's going to work together, scoping the size and breadth and what you're going to do on the project, negotiating with your company sponsor what you're going to accomplish, developing a presentation which is board ready, which is business oriented, strong in its approach of how these people are going to use what you're giving them. Those kind of things are way more learning and beneficial than running the spreadsheets, than developing the marketing, quote, plan and the different things you're going to do. Really quite different. And field studies gives you that real world experience that gives you something to talk about in the interview. And what a lot of people have told me who have done field studies is that when they go to do their internship or when they go and start their job, what they learned in the field study, the approach, the direction, how they attacked the problem, remembering those things they learned in the field study made them way ahead of their compatriots who are doing an internship or starting a new job because they've been through that first experience at the company. They've already been through it. They've got a good feel on how to attack it.
Well, I'm a little biased because I'm in my second field study right now. But I completely agree with that. When I went to my internship, I totally saw the same principles and values and mainly the strategies that we had to develop for the company were very similar to the project that I had. So that's great. You kind of covered a little bit about what the project looks like, but I wanted you to talk more about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that. As director of marketing, as a global business director that was running businesses, and as the chief strategy officer over 122 divisions, I ran hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of projects.
Right, I bet.
And so the difference, a little bit of the difference between what you're doing in when you have a project team that's working on a case study or a homework, that's really quite different than actually attacking and diving into a very complex, unstructured project, which is what you normally run into in a field study. And so when you're going to do a project, I'll work with companies in coming up with a project that you're going to attack and you're going to work on. But in most cases, they're kind of saying, well, you know, we really want to know more about this, we want to work on this, we want to make a decision around this, but they don't really kind of know exactly what needs to happen. So in a field study, most of them are multidiscipline. So you might have a pure marketing project where all you're trying to do is come up with a marketing plan, but much more common, what you're probably ending up with is a project that's going to have some financial issues associated, they're going to have some supply chain issues, they're going to have some marketing issues, they're going to have some strategy issues. And because business problems are just that, they're business. They're not a marketing problem or a finance problem. Most marketing people don't work with other marketing people. They work with operations and finance and supply chain because they're solving business issues. And that's what field studies are. They're business problems, not homework problems, not functional things. They're business problems, and that's what makes them great. And what's neat is you get a faculty advisor, and you work with a business executive who has 30 years of experience in doing these kind of things and making board-level presentations. You get to work with those people who can make sure that you're using the best approaches and that it's business relevant when you do it. And when you get done, you know what it's like to go be that intern or be that new employee.
I agree. And when we talk about this, it sounds very, very daunting, like for any student.
Well, it is. It's a little scary. There's no question about it. I've never seen anybody go into these projects and walk out and say, wow, that was easy. No, they're hard.
What is the usual time commitment per week?
And so that's a great question, because we don't want students to be hurting the rest of their classes. So we're pretty firm. We don't want you to work more than 9 hours a week.
Okay.
Now, a 3 credit hour class, well, 1 credit at BYU is supposed to have 1 hour in class and 2 hours outside of class doing homework and reading.
Right.
So that's 3 hours for 1 credit. Well, this is a 3 credit hour class. And so we try and have it be 9 hours of effort. And 9 hours is about what any other 3 credit hour class ought to be. So this should fit right into your schedule. So if you're happy taking 14 or 15 hours, and you've taken that in other semesters, and now this semester is going to have a field study and 12 other credits, then you ought to be fine.
Well, great. And can you just just so we wrap up with some good names here, just so the students get a little savvy about this. What are some of the companies that are coming around to do field studies here at BYU?
So ideally, if I could have anything that I wanted, I would have our recruiting partners, the companies that hire our students. I would have them be our primary people doing field studies. And if I could have every project with our recruiting partners, I would. I don't have enough partners that do a project each semester to be able to do that. But who are some of the ones? Well, we're doing them with this semester we're doing General Mills and Kellogg and Cisco. We're doing 2 with Cisco. Honeywell. We're doing a number of large companies. We're doing a number of mid-size, kind of mid-size or smaller companies. We're doing Aspen Home Health and Hospice. We're doing Rise International, which is a $50 million company with 3,000 employees. We're doing some small entrepreneurial startups. We're doing Nelson & Nelson with their Clearview technology on a clear windshield wiper technology that they're looking to monetize. We're doing 4 projects with Deseret Management Corp. Now, Deseret Management Corp last semester did a project with us looking at how they would take Deseret Book and KSL and Deseret News and what could they do internationally. And so they were so impressed with the output from the team that they said, okay, we want to move forward on this. Can you guys help us to move forward? And we said, yeah, we can help you move to the next level. And so they took 4 teams. They got 4 teams of MBAs doing projects in the US, Mexico, and Brazil. And a lot of times, a number of the field study projects will have international travel involved. So we're sending teams to the UK, to Germany, to Ireland, to Singapore, to Mexico, to Brazil. There's probably a couple more that I haven't thought off the top of my head.
Oh,
now,
that's fantastic.
A broad selection.
And it's great to hear that these companies come back, that they are so satisfied with the result that they decide to come back and get another project.
Some come back every year, like Honeywell does one every winter. Other projects like RISE and Deseret Management Corp both did projects last semester, and they're doing another one this semester.
Okay.
Mazda did one last semester, and they're going to do one next fall. So we have
That's
a mixture.
amazing.
But one of the things I want to warn students about, don't get caught up that the name is the most important thing on a field study. It's not. There are some really good projects with big companies, and there's some pretty just kind of corporate projects that are internal. What's more important in a field study is what you do with it, the impact you make, because you want to be able to talk about this on your resume. You want to talk about the impact you made.
Right.
And if you made a strong impact, then that's more important than being with a big
agree.
company name. I recruited for 18 years on campuses all over the United States. MBA recruiting probably 10 of those 18 years. I can tell you, the name of the company you worked with is nowhere near as important as what you accomplished and the impact you made.
Well, Roger, thank you very much for being here with us today. It's a pleasure to learn from your experience, and we hope to be able to do this again. So thank you very much for watching us today, and we'll see you next time at Morning Market Call.
MMC is brought to you by the Marriott School of Management in association with the Brigham Young University Department of Communications. MNC is made possible by a generous donation from Larry Tasjan and Gary Williams, and is produced by Rhett Weller, Todd Castagna, Mason Chen, Joel Tovey, and Sabrina Beck, with line producing by Kika Latu. For more information, find us on our Facebook and Twitter or at morningmarketcall.org.